of leadership and to know whether they had segmentary governance or they had state and known kingdoms. 4, economic aspect, that is when we have to understand about the way people conduct their income generating programs. So I think in those 4 aspects, Teacher Hajara Nachito took you through. So today, we are learning the coming of Islam in Uganda. The coming of Islam in Uganda, Islam was introduced in Uganda by the Arab traders who came from the coast. Ahmed bin Ibrahim came together with Ney bin Amir in 1884. During the reign of Suna II, so he welcomed them and they stayed in their palace. They were not allowed to go to move freely because of the security. So as they stayed in the palace, they observed that the king had extreme powers. The king had a lot of powers. He mistreated his subjects. So he killed some subjects. So the Arabs were not happy with that action. They decided to tell him that a human being is not treated the way you treat your subjects. So Suna II was eager to understand what these Arabs were talking about. Again, they further explained to him that a person must be with Supreme God, not a fellow human being. So in the conversation, Suna II was eager to understand about the new religion. He asked them, who is that Supreme God? They explained to him. So he decided to convert to Islam. Suna II decided to convert to Islam. So he converted to Islam. And as he converted to Islam, also some of his subjects managed to convert to Islam. Suna also learned some chapters, 4 chapters from the whole Quran. Suna died in 1854 after learning some verses of Quran. But again, with his death, he was succeeded by Mutesa I. Mutesa I took over. So here, today, members, today we are going to look about factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. Factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. Factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. Factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda, or factors that facilitated the spread of Islam in Uganda. The first one was trade. Trade. As I told you that those Arabs who introduced Islam in Uganda were traders from the coast of East Africa. Ahmad bin Ibrahim and Ismail bin Amir were traders. That was their major or primary aim to come to Uganda, to look for markets for their goods and to get goods from Africa. So as they came, also they introduced Islam to Uganda. That was the major factor of the spread of Islam in Uganda, trade. 2, the role of the chiefs. The role of the chiefs. When we talk about chiefs, we talk about leaders. For example, Mutesa I or Kabarega. Those leaders, let's begin with Suna. Suna welcomed the Arabs and allowed them in his palace. They settled in his palace. So from there, they managed to spread Islam because of that warm welcome given by the chiefs. So chiefs also played big role in spread of Islam in Uganda. 3, the Arab employment. The Arab employment. So these Arabs, when they came here, they employed some of the local people in their different areas. So through that interaction, they managed to understand from them Islam. So because of that employment and that interaction between the Arabs and the local people, they managed to understand Islam, and consequently some converted to Islam. 4, construction of Uganda Railway. Construction of Uganda Railway. The construction of Uganda Railway was purposely to ease transport of goods from Kenya to Uganda, from Uganda to Tanzania. But those who constructed the Uganda Railway were Indians. So some of those Indians were Muslims, and those Muslims managed to interact with the locals as they were constructing the Uganda Railway. So with that interaction also, some local people managed to convert to Islam. So in that construction, also Islam benefited in that way, that Muslims, local people managed to enter Islam and managed to convert to Islam because of that construction. 5, end of inter-tribal conflicts. When we talk about inter-tribal conflicts, we mean the differences and misunderstanding between the Banyoro or Banyoro and Baganda. They had some differences and conflicts because of either land boundaries or some other issues. So those conflicts also had insecurity as the two sides fought. So when the British came and stopped and ended those inter-tribal conflicts, there was sanity and peace. Consequently, people managed to move freely in security and spread Islam in those areas. Number 6, about the factors which led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. British employment also. British employment. British employment. So these British, they colonized our country. The colonialists also managed to employ some local people. So as they employed some local people, they employed some Muslims. When they employed some Muslims in some areas, those Muslims also managed to convince the locals in those areas and managed to convert to Islam. So the employment of the British colonialists made a way or paved the way to spread of Islam, because of some Muslims employed by the British managed to convince the people in those areas where they were employed. So those people managed to enter Islam. Number 7, Sudanese soldiers. Number 7, Sudanese soldiers. Sudanese soldiers. The Sudanese soldiers also worked for the British, but as they worked for the British in various areas, they had that intermarriages between the locals. So consequently, they managed to produce Muslims in those areas. They managed to convince people in those areas to enter Islam. So with Sudanese working for the British also, they managed to spread Islam in those areas where they worked for the British. Number 8, religious wars. In 1888, religious wars in 1888 to 1893. These are 5 years. Religious wars. Those were wars between Muslims and non-Muslims, or Muslims against Christians. So at the end of these wars, Muslims were defeated. So as a result of defeat, Muslims were dispersed. So they migrated to various areas. They migrated to Chijungute in Bunyoro, they migrated in Ankole, they migrated to Busoga and other areas. So as they migrated, because of that defeating, after the wars, they also went with their Islam and spread Islam outside Uganda. Number 9, introduction of Muslim villages. Introduction of Muslim villages. Introduction of Muslim villages. This was a result of defeat by Muslims when they were defeated in these wars between 1888 1893. They settled in various areas. They formed their villages like Echijungute, Butambara, Bombo and other areas. As they formed these villages, also they introduced Islam in those areas, hence spreading Islam. Number 10, the role of Nuhu Mbogo. The role of Nuhu Mbogo. The role of Nuhu Mbogo. Prince Nuhu Mbogo is the father to Prince Kakungulu Badiru. Prince Kakungulu Badiru is the father to Prince Dr. Kasim Nachiringe. This Prince Nuhumbogo fought a lot for the rights of Muslims. Fought a lot for the rights of Muslims. We can cite an example of one Muslim one day who was employed by a British. That Muslim, he was told to do the work from morning to from dawn to dusk, from dawn to dusk every day without any relief, without any rest. So Nuhumbogo, when he was informed about the tireless work of the Muslim, he intervened. He went to that bridge. He convinced him that let this man rest, let me work for that man. Let me replace this man to work in that place. So the bridge was shy. He did not accept the Prince Nuhumbogo to work instead of that Muslim working. So because of that, Nuhumbogo managed to relieve that burden from that Muslim and the other incidents which Nuhumbogo came into to fight for the rights of Muslims, like slaughtering that it is for Muslims, like entering the courts of law, that Muslims cannot remove their caps as they enter in the courts. So he fought for the rights of Muslims, hence made consequently that is the way for Muslims to spread Islam. Number 11, the abolition of slave trade. 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 During slavery, when people were being sold, so there is that theory that Muslims were the people who used to raid homes of people and take people for slavery. So when the British came and abolished, stopped the slavery, that bad image of Muslims was removed. So Muslims restored their image, so that Islam went on. So the abolition of slave trade also was another factor which led to the spread of Islam. Number 12, establishment of Muslim educational organization. Establishment of Muslim educational organization. Establishment of Muslim education organization such as UMEA. UMEA, it is an abbreviation of Uganda Muslim Education Association. So when they established that organization fought to construct some schools, some Muslim schools, supported Muslims in various areas. So consequently led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. Number 13, the rise of Muslim scholars. The rise of Muslim scholars. The rise of Muslim scholars such as Soib Semakula, Abdurrahman Mivre, Sechimani, and others. These scholars managed to teach Muslims their religion, principles of Islam. They managed to spread Islam in that way. So Muslims also lacked scholars, lacked people who knew about Islam. So when they got Soib Semakula, Abdurrahman Mivre, Sechimani, it was like a sign of prosperity in Islam. So Muslims managed to prosper. Muslims managed to spread their Islam because they had where to get knowledge from. Abdurrahman Mivre, I can tell you that Abdurrahman students, Abdurrahman was buried at Kawempe, where there is Kawempe Muslim Secondary School. That is the headquarters for Juma and Dhuhri. So Abdurrahman Mivre was one of the leaders and one of the pioneers of Juma and Dhuhri at Chadondo, where there is a Kawempe Muslim Secondary School. Number 14. Muslim countries. Muslim countries was another factor. Muslim countries. These countries, when we talk about Muslim countries, these are countries like Sudan, Egypt, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and others. Those countries managed to support Muslims in one way or another. They managed to give scholarship, they managed to build mosques, they managed to build schools, so that in that way Islam was spread. Number 15, Muslim ceremonies. Muslim ceremonies. And festivals. Muslim ceremonies and festivals. When we talk about Muslim ceremonies and festivals, mainly we talk about Mawlid. Mawlid is where Muslims stage an occasion to commemorate the birth of the Prophet, peace be upon him. In that festival, or in that ceremony, or in those ceremonies, in most cases, non-Muslims try to convert to Islam because of the colorful occasion of the Mawlidis, because of the colorful festival of the Mawlid held by Muslims. Many other peoples managed to convert to Islam because of Mawlidis. Muslim festivals or Muslim ceremonies can be termed as one of the factors led to the spread of Islam. Number 16, organization of da'wah programs. Organization of da'wah program. Organization of da'wah program. Organization of da'wah programs. Many sects in Islam, like Juma and Dhuhri, at Chadondo, they have da'wah program. The African Muslim community, Bukoto Natete, Nam and other sects, they had programs where they managed to convince people, they managed to teach people, and hence spreading Islam. Number 17, formation of Muslim organizations. Formation of Muslim organization. Formation of Muslim organization. Organizations like Africa Muslim Agents from Kuwait, Muslim World League from Saudi Arabia, Munazamat from Sudan. These organizations helped many Muslims in one way or another. They built schools, they built mosques, they constructed boreholes and other benefits, other things which benefited Muslims, hence spread of Islam. So those are Muslim organizations. Number 18, political leaders. Political leaders. Political leaders, when we talk about political leaders, we cannot forget the former president of Uganda, Idi Amin, who established Uganda Muslim Supreme Council in 1972. That body, the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, became an umbrella for all Muslims in Uganda. So Muslims had that body. Up to now, the body is still there as an umbrella and a peace mouth for Muslims to the government. So political leaders like President Idi Amin, former president of Uganda, established Uganda Muslim Supreme Council in 1972. That body helped many Muslims. So it is one of the factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. Number 19, you can say technological advancement. Technological advancement. Technological advancement. Technological advancement. Technological advancement. When we talk about technological advancement, we mean establishment of TV stations like Salam TV, establishment of radio stations like Voice of Africa, PAR FM, and the other technological advancements. So those medias, all those technological advancements, I mean those radio stations and the TV stations helped to conduct da'wah, helped spread Islam, facilitated Muslims, so that Islam was spread because of the technological advancement. And lastly, we can talk about the similarities between the Arabs and the local. Similarities, for example, when we talk about similarities between the Arabs and the local people, which helped the spread, the easier spread of Islam in Uganda. We can talk about the way the local people respect the elders. We can talk about also the way the local people had that polygamous marriage, that they found that when Islam came, they had things in common. They had things in common. The local people had things in common with the Arabs. So that in that area, it facilitated the spread of Islam. So members, you can go also to the website and have more points there at the website and search for that. After the factors led to the spread of Islam, we can talk about challenges to the spread of Islam during the 19th century. Challenges. We can talk about challenges. Challenges to the spread of Islam in Uganda during, there is that demarcation, during the 19th century. When we talk about challenges, we mean difficulties faced by spreading Islam, obstacles or hindrances which faced the spread of Islam. We can begin with limited movements by the Arabs. As we were starting our lesson, we talked about the Arabs who came from the coast of East Africa, in 1844. When they reached here, they went direct to King Suna II's palace. But as King Suna welcomed the Arabs, he did not allow them to move freely in Uganda. He did not allow them to move freely. So this one also, it was an obstacle, it was a challenge to the spread of Islam, limited movements by the Arabs who brought the religion. So they were limited to, they were confined in his palace. They did not go outside the palace. So they preached within the palace, they preached the subjects within the palace. So it is considered to be one of the challenges faced the spread of Islam in Uganda. 2, traditional beliefs. Traditional beliefs. Traditional belief. So when we talk about traditional beliefs, it is what we term as local belief, that people believe in spirits, dead people's spirits, that they can help them in one way or another. They don't have the supreme God in the heavens, so for them they have that belief in dead people's spirits. So traditional belief was one of the obstacles of the spread of Islam. Even those people who converted to Islam, some of them, they were mixing the two beliefs, Islamic religion and the tradition belief. They could not differentiate between the two beliefs. So it was one way or another a hindrance or a challenge to the spread of Islam. Even Mutesa I, they say that even Mutesa I, who was the son to Suna Kabaka of Uganda, Suna II, so he converted to Islam, and his era is taken to be the golden era of Islam. But Mutesa II, they say that he converted to Islam, but not wholeheartedly. He sometimes believed in magicians, so he could consult the magicians about his kingdom. So he did not enter Islam wholeheartedly, Mutesa I, although they brand his era to be the golden era of Islam. 3, the killing of some Muslims by Mutesa. The killing of some Muslims. The killing of some Muslims by Mutesa I, it happened that also Tabligh belief started far back from that era. That the Tablighs argued that Kabaka Mutesa I cannot lead them because he was not circumcised. He cannot lead prayer. He cannot slaughter any animal. Yet Mutesa had branded himself the leader of the believers, or leader of Muslims. So he was he was the one to lead the prayer. He was the one to slaughter animals. He was the one to do those Islamic rituals. But some Muslims refused to pray behind him. So with that, he was angered. He slaughtered, or he killed 100 Muslims at Namugongo. So it was one of the hindrances. Killing 100, it is not an easy action. So he killed 100 Muslims because they refused to pray behind him. They refused to eat what he slaughtered. So he killed 100. So the rest fled and ran away from Uganda. So it hindered the spread of Islam in that way. Number 4, the death of Mutesa I himself. The death of Mutesa I. As we are going to see in the following lessons about the regime of Mutesa I and the way Islam benefited and the way Muslims got many posts in his kingdom. So many Muslims were raised to big posts in his regime. So with his death, it was a big blow to Islam. It was a big blow to Islam. Muslims lost a powerful man who had raised many Muslims to high posts in his kingdom. So with the death of Mutesa I also, it was one of the challenges of the spread of Islam. Number 5, the lack of Muslim missionaries. Lack of Muslim missionaries. Lack of Muslim missionaries. When we talk about missionaries, when the Christians came in Uganda in 1877 and 1889, the Protestants, the Protestant missionaries were the first, then followed by the Catholic, the Anglican. You can say the Anglican in 1877. They came in Uganda, then followed by the Catholics in 1879. So they had missionaries. Missionaries are these are people who teach and propagate religion. So Muslims had no preachers, had no teachers to teach Islam. That's why it was a challenge in the spread of Islam. Lack of Muslim missionaries. Muslims had no teachers, had no people who can propagate Islam in various areas, the way the Christians did. Number 6, some of the challenges. The influx of Christian missionaries in 1877 and 1879. The influx. The influx of the Christians in 1877. The influx, when we talk about influx, we mean the coming of the Christian missionaries in 1877. Muslims came in 1844, but remember that they were traders who came for trade and looking for market for their goods and looking for goods to take home. So they did not concentrate in teaching Islam. So the influx of Christians in 1877, it was a big blow to spread of Islam. So they started fighting for the converts. That is the war for the converts started with the coming of the Christians in 1877. So it was a challenge to the spread of Islam. Remember that these people, when they came, they had that support of their home countries, the colonialists. They had that support. Yet Muslims had no support from Arab countries. So that support also facilitated the Christians spread, to spread Christianity. Number seven. Number 7. Number 7, the disease. The disease. When we talk about the disease, we talk about the disease that claimed lives of Muslims in Kijungute. For example, Prince Karema, or the leader of Muslims by then, Karema, who died in Kijungute, and other Muslims, they died of smallpox. Smallpox. So smallpox, or the disease which claimed lives of Muslims in Kijungute, also was another blow to the spread of Islam, or it was another challenge which hindered the spread of Islam disease. Number 8, the IBEAC. The coming or the establishment of the IBEAC in 1880. It is 1890. 1890. It was 1890. This is an abbreviation of the British Company, which is Imperial British East African Company. This one opened its office in 1890 in Kampala. When they opened that office in Kampala, they agreed to give Muslims 3 counties. These were Busuju, Butambala, and Gomba. This is the company which decided to give 3 counties for Muslims. Busuju, Butambala, and Gomba. They are given to Muslims in 1890. But again, this one was a challenge. These are remote counties. Busuju is not near Kampala. Butambala, it is also not near Kampala. Also Gomba, it is not near Kampala. So it is like they have chased them out of Kampala, and placed them in remote areas. So it was a challenge to the spread of Islam. Then when it comes to 1893, 1808 also, 1893, in 1893, Major MacDonald succeeded Captain Lugard. So when he succeeded Captain Lugard in 1893, he removed the Busuju and Gomba from Muslims. leaving them in one county, Butambara. Also, it was a challenge. Remember that they were placed in 3 counties, Busuju, Gomba, and Butambara. They were remote counties. But again, when Major MacDonald came in as the successor to Captain Lugard, he chased Muslims out of Busuju and chased Muslims out of Gomba, leaving them with only one county, that is Butambara. It was also another challenge to the spread of Islam. Then, number 10, mistreatment of Muslims. Mistreatment of Muslims. That is, Muslims were mistreated. We can give an example of Prince Nuhumbogo, who was trying to defend Muslims, who was trying to fight for the rights of Muslims. He was exiled in Zanzibar. He was exiled in Zanzibar in 1893. In this year, 1893, with that man, Major MacDonald. 1893, our Prince Nuhumbogo was exiled in Zanzibar. That's why we commemorate his return at the home of our Prince, Kasimu Nachibinge, because that was the freedom fighter for Muslims. He was fighting for the rights of Muslims. He was fighting for the Muslims. So taking him to exile means that Muslims have remained without any protector. So it is mistreatment of Muslims, like exiling, taking Prince Nuhumbogo to the exile. It becomes a challenge to the spread of Islam. So we can say also, number 11, we can say lack of resources. Lack of resources. Lack of resources. Lack of resources. Lack of resources means that Muslims lacked finance to finance their programs, to build, construct their schools, to construct their mosques, to facilitate the spread of Islam. So, lack of resources. Muslims had no finance to facilitate their programs, because they were not like the Christians, because Christians were, as I told you, that were helped by the home countries, from England, from Italy, from France, but Muslims were not helped by their sister countries like Saudi Arabia and the other. They were not backed financially to run their day-to-day programs. So lack of resources also was another challenge to the spread of Islam. Number 12. Lack of Muslim leaders. Lack of Muslim leaders. Lack of Muslim leaders. Lack of Muslim leaders. When we talk about lack of Muslim leaders, we mean that in Uganda, the kings, after the death of Mutesa I, the one who succeeded him, Mwanga, or the king who came after him, he did not convert to Islam. So Muslims were not happy, because Kabaka Mwanga did not consider Muslims as Mutesa I considered them, as Mutesa I gave them the various posts, high posts in his kingdom. So during Kabaka Mwanga, Muslims had no any post. They had no any position in the kingdom. So we can say that lack of leadership, lack of a leader who was a Muslim to support them, also it was another challenge to spread of Islam in Uganda. Then second last, we can say the mutiny, it was called mutiny of Sudanese soldiers. The mutiny of Sudanese, mutiny of Sudanese soldiers. The Sudanese soldiers were working for the British, but as I told you that these people, they worked for the British, but also they are not paid in some way or another. So they was like demonstrating or claiming for their wages which were not paid, led as they are claiming for their wages which were not paid, led to killing of some Muslims by the British. By the British. So we can say that that is some of two areas which we have covered. We looked at the four aspects as we wind up. We looked at the four aspects in the pre-Islamic Uganda. Pre-Islamic Uganda, we looked at the four aspects, which is religious aspect, social aspect, political aspect, and the economic aspect. Briefly, because those areas, you are taken through those areas by teacher Hajara. Then we looked at the coming of Islam, where we say that the coming of Islam was introduced in Uganda by the Arab traders who came from the coast of East Africa in 1844. Then after that, we told you that the way they observed the treatment, the way King Suna too, how he tried to treat his subjects, the way he had the supreme or the extreme power to kill and to give life to his subjects. So they directed him. Consequently, Suna became a Muslim, but in 1854, Suna died and was succeeded by his son, Mutesa I. Then we looked at factors. We looked at factors led to the spread of Islam in Uganda. And lastly, we looked at the challenges or the obstacles or hindrances and difficulties faced by the spread of Islam in Uganda. You can go to our website, www.chibulisss.sc.com, and you download what we have been talking about. It is loaded, or it is uploaded on the website. You can download and look and further get the information about the coming of Islam, factors led to the spread of Islam, and challenges faced the spread of Islam in Uganda. Thank you.